Welcome, my friends, to this community showdown featuring the Tomb Kings, who shall be led by Flying Taco and his dreaded double bone giant. Today, guys, he's going to be facing off against the Vampire Counts, who shall be led by King of the Dead, coming in with a massive Strigoi ghoul build. So yes, it's going to be crypt ghouls, it's going to be crypt horrors, there's going to be all kinds of Haggard units from the beyond. So here you can see a bunch of crypt ghouls, feasters. Oh man, I'm so excited for this. So for the Tomb King army here on the front line, it's going to be skeleton warriors, HAGGARD, and skeleton spearmen. Now, the ghouls are actually pretty good at killing skeletons. They have really high damage and decent combat stats, but again, skeletons have pretty low melee defense and things like that. So the ghouls actually could be really good against his front line. Very eager to see how they function, but nonetheless, HAGGARD will be able to kill quite a few of them. It has great stats. It does, of course, have regeneration, and it is a damage dealer, as the tooltip does infer. A couple spears in the flanks, spears in the back, including the King Nikesh's Scorpion Legion, who are very durable themselves, and the double Bone Giant. So the Bone Giants certainly have some good targets. I mean, going after Terrorgeists, Varghulfs, Corpse Carts, Mortis Engines, there's a lot of good targets for them against Vampire Counts. So this is definitely going to be a pretty target-rich environment in the form of Crypt Horrors. We do, of course, have the Strigoi Vampire Lord and things like that. But the thing about all these like ghoul units, or at least these flying units, is they can juke relatively effectively. So with some good micro, he might be able to dodge the Bone Giants, but still, it is not an easy task. So the dreaded double Bone Giants shall be protected by Necropolis Knights with Halberds, two of those. And yeah, honestly, they do the trick. They have poison as well. So if you do catch someone committing to an engagement, these guys, unlike a lot of other anti-large cab units, have poison, so they make it harder to get away once you commit. So two of those, and Cetra's going to be on the Sphinx with the protection, Narrow's Incantation of Protection, Curse Blades, and looks like the Blade of Petra is going to be all we got from him. Now for King of the Dead, it's going to be a whole front line of Crypt Ghouls, a couple of Crypt Horrors in the back, which, man, it reminds me, this takes me back to another day and age, back in the days of old for Warhammer 1. But yeah, Crypt Horror is still a bit of a strange unit. They're like a generalist unit. They don't have like a bonus versus infantry or large, so they can hurt constructs for sure, and they have poison as well. So poison is very efficient against like big targets because, and small ones, but against big targets, it proportionately lowers the stats, right? So you're going to be taking a lot of damage off these bigger targets like Cetra. So I'm quite eager to see how the Crypt Horrors do in this battle. And that's pretty much it. Just a big Haggard Crypt Legion. He's got some Fellbats. He's got Scurvy Dogs in the back to, or not Scurvy Dogs. I'm so used to seeing him play Vampire Ghost. Dire Wolves and the Dire Pack, which would be quite good against the Ushapti Greatbow play and things like that. But against Bone Giants, it's not going to be quite as good, especially with all the defense here. So let's see if the Ghouls can bust through and take the game, or if the Bone Daddies, the big Bone Giants, going to be dropping those fat bones on top of these Ghouls. So the first shot's going into Crypt Horrors. It looks like that one Crypt Horror in particular just took the double bolts right to the face, which is pretty funny. Now, Cetra's kind of in the danger zone a little bit. Like, the Vargheists don't have the best AP, but they can still pin him in and allow the Strigoi Vampire Lord to come in and do some work. Strigoi Vampire Lords do have bonus versus large, good AP values, they have poison. So Cetra is going to be taking this fight. What I like about King's play is he flew past Cetra with those guys, and now he's going to be pinning him in. So Cetra can't really get away easily. Breath Attack coming downtown. Nice Breath Attack, does some solid damage, and here comes the Strigoi Vampire Lord, the slow-mo. The descent of the Ghoul King with his furry cloak or his cape or whatever the hell he's wearing. But nonetheless, this is going to be a good situation here. Cetra is in a very, very precarious one, that's for sure. So Spirit Leech going down, Narrow's Incantation of Protection, going to be mitigating a lot of damage. Wrath Petra blasting those Dire Wolves, doing quite a bit of damage, but the Bone Giants are probably going to be turning and shooting, I would imagine, to try and free up Cetra. The Claws of Morcane, the Opal Amulet. Claws of Morcane give him 538 in his combat stats, and you can see the dogs trying to get to the back, but the Snake Knights are easily able to peel them. So there's not really a home for the dogs or bats or other harass units in this matchup, and it looks like it might be a quick game. I mean, you can see here Cetra the Imperishable is trying his best to get out, and he might be able to find a seam, and oh, there's an opening. Will he part the Great Sea? The Bone Giant, of course, putting some serious hurt on the Strigoi Vampire Lord, but Cetra has really good mass on that Sphinx, so he is going to be able to get away. It looks like in the meantime there is going to be a Crypt Horror summon. Nice! Look at that Crypt Horror summon. So something you don't see every day. The Strigoi Vampire Lord here does have the summon of Crypt Horror, so he is able to kind of pin in Cetra, but Cetra does now have the reinforcements of the Necropolis Knights and some of these other troops, and Ghoul King is going to be going in. So in the front we have the Horrors fighting the HAGGARD, and HAGGARD's having a pretty bad time, being 2v1'd here by the Feasters in the Dusk and the Crypt Horrors, and both of which obviously do pretty good damage. And you can see here the HAGGARD are down to half health. So removing them quickly would be very nice. In the meantime, King is going to be using some Fellbats in the back to jump on top of the Bone Giants to keep them from shooting. But the other Bone Giant is going to be going downtown. Pretty lethal shots for sure. I mean, every time it makes contact with something, it's usually getting a kill or two against these Vargheists and these Crypt Horrors. But so far, it looks like the Ghoul Rush is actually doing very well. Necropolis Knights with Halberds taking a beating from the Crypt Horrors and the Poison and the Vargheists and, you know, the Ghoul Lords and Ghoul Kings and Ghoul this and that. And it looks like he's going to be going to try and finish off the Necropolis Knights with Halberds now with a nice rear charge. And he's probably going to get him, to be honest. So here comes the Strigoi Vampire Lord. It's not the Ghoul King, but he might as well be a Ghoul King. Let's just say it's kind of fun. The other group of Crypt Horrors is going to be jumping over here, going after the Bone Giant. But though the situation is going very well for the Vampires, you can see a lot of their troops, like the Cryptors, have taken huge HP damage, their summons are going to be dissipating, and those Bone Giants are generating some really solid value. And somehow, I don't know, it's possible, but the Kepler Guard have been able to 2v1 the Feasters in the Dusk and these Cryptors. I really thought they were going to lose that, but I think it's partially because of the saturation of Skeleton Spearmen in that position. So Settra, in the meantime, going to be drifting down the flank, going after these guys. It looks like he's going to try and rear charge the Cryptors, or just trying to get away. It looks like he's just trying to escape. And the Strigoi, a Vampire Lord, going to be dropping a fat breath attack. Beautiful one, right in the face of Settra. Yeah, it's a very, very close battle, but the Bone Giants are pretty good on ammo, both of them about 50% give or take, and this one doing the Mike Tyson right hook there on a couple ghouls who were able to gibber down at his feet here, and it looks like there are some crypt ghouls. The Poison, of course, putting his weapon strength down to 320, so a pretty big nerf there on the stats. But if we look at the battlefield, the Tomb Kings are kind of stabilizing. Skeleton Spearmen are going. There are some Vargeist up in the sky. There's 8, there's 9 here. These Vargeist certainly probably just going to be cycle charging, rear charging, trying to finish off the Necropolis Knights, I would imagine, to free up the Strigoi Vampire Lord. Because without those units that can like pin him down, he's going to have pretty much free range, etc. Oh, that Bone Giant Blast just took out like 3 or 4 of those guys, plus the Wrath of Petra explosion just nuked those Vargeist. Man, that Bone Giant did so much damage, and that almost single-handedly pulled the balance of power back towards the middle, so now we have a very, very even game in our hands. As the Ghoul King is kind of pinned here, and also the Ushabti Summon was dropped from the Tomb King, so the Ushabti Summon is falsely inflating the balance of power, but it's doing a good job of forcing back the Strigoi Vampire Lord, who clearly has a hard on here and is trying to get this Settra the Imperishable down. So Settra's juking, Narrows Incantation and Protection going down once again, so really good play by Flying Taco, using that almost every time he gets attacked. And the Strigoi Vampire Lord with the Ghoul King of Rosharon does have a free heal, which is something a lot of people don't know. He actually has some pretty good niche applications. But Settra's still taking quite a bit of damage despite the protection, but he has pulled in the Bone Giant to help. King of the Dead, basically just getting all of his troops here in this pocket and just like rapidly clicking here, trying to get on Settra to the best of his abilities. Vargeist are being pulled in, Cryptors are being pulled in, but the Sneaky Snakes, though they're not doing a ton of damage to the Ghoul King, are able to kind of stop him from getting on Settra, and the Bone Giant, of course, with that Mike Tyson right hook, is doing an okay job of keeping some of these guys back as well. So in the front line, the Tomb Kings are actually kind of stabilizing. King Nikesh's Scorpion Legion probably will be able to hold here, and the Kepler Guard, which is absolutely insane. Those guys have been getting beaten on the whole game, and they're still going. Just a testament to units like the Sternsmen and Kepler Guard in terms of their durability. So the Ghoul King's still trying to snipe Settra, which, yeah, you know, I guess this entire game, right, investing all that sniping in Settra and not getting him, I think is starting to, like, hurt him, right? Because had Settra been killed, and it was Ghoul King versus all these units with his scraps, he would be able to go after the Bone Giants, kill the Sneaky Snakes, but he's still having to commit to Settra, who, with good juking and Narrows Incantation and Protection, is really, really tough to bring down. So Settra just doing some jukes here, going to be turning down and going back after the Crypt Ghouls here, and there it goes. So the Crypt Ghouls getting smashed. Wrath of Petra going down as well, just to add insult to injury, as those ghouls are blasted into another dimension. But here it comes. Is the Strigoi Vampire Lord going to get on Settra and take him out? 1300 HP. It looks like Settra is narrowly able to dodge that, as the Strigoi Vampire Lord's having some problems making contact, but although he'll probably take one attack here in the back from the Terror Goose. The Bone Giant shooting him right in the face, and guys, for the first time in this game, the balance of power was pretty heavily in the undead, or, well, they're all undead. It was pretty heavily in the favor of the vampire counts for most of this game. Nice breath attack right there. Settra might actually go down here, so the Haggard Ghoul King might get his last laugh, it would appear, but it looks like the Japs of Cursed Blades is going to be going down, making him very, very powerful. 133, -10. Is the Ghoul King going to get the kill, or the Ghoul Lord, Strigoi Ghoul Lord, whatever the hell he's called? Is he going to get Settra? He might. I don't think he'll have enough to win the battle otherwise. Settra's at 34 HP. Absolute lunacy. I can imagine at this point just the rabid clicking on Settra, just trying to bring him down. But Settra does go down, so at least the Strigoi Vampire Lord does have that accolade to his belt that he did take out Settra. But, you know, I don't think he's going to be able to take the Bone Giants. Plus, there's still a lot of spears here, 70 Skeleton Spears. There's King Nikesh's Scorpion Legion. And the 2 Bone Giants probably could just Mike Tyson him down and just take him out. And you can see, oh, there's the right hook coming in, just the slobber knocker. The Opal Amulet has been popped, but I just don't see what the Strigoi Vampire Lord can do. Valiant effort for sure, and I'm quite curious if he considers that army like a meme army, like just spamming like all ghouls and Cryptors. Probably, he was probably memeing a little bit for sure, but it actually ended up being okay. It was competitive, and you know, there was certainly situations, had he been able to get Settra earlier, he probably would have been in pretty good shape this game, but Flying Taco did a really, really good job using Settra to kind of drift about. And you can see the Ghoul Lord's trying his best. Just getting, Bone Giants are so meaty. They have like 9,000 HP, but yeah, Taco did a really good job with his Narrows Incantation and Protection. The Bone Giants do accrue pretty good value if they're allowed to just sit and shoot. Obviously not a lot in terms of kills, but they were shooting high value targets. So the Ghoul King of Rosharon's going to go down, which gives him leadership and heals him, but now he's going to be taking those bony blasts right to the face. But balance of power is actually still kind of even, but if you really look at the battlefield, it's not even. Just like all these spears is just such a pain in the ass. Strigoi Vampire Lord is more of like a duelist. He's not going to like massacre like hordes of infantry and things like that. Gooses in general aren't designed for that. I know all of you guys who play Magic the Gathering, whenever you hear Goose, you're like, oh god, not the Goose. Claws of Morkane going down, giving him a huge AP values, and he's getting some good punch, but oh, he's just taking those shots right to the face. Kepler Guard are here, they have 50 models. King Nikesh's Scorpion Legion is here. And it looks like the Goose is going to go out like an absolute champion. And you know what? If we learned anything this game, it's that I think there certainly is some nice applications to this Vampire Lord. He self-heals. You don't have to waste Invocations of Nehek on him. He has a bonus for Large. He has poison. So it definitely is a cool, you know, kind of a opposite, I guess, not opposite, but a option compared to the traditional Zombie Dragon or things like that. Yeah, the Ghoul King, you know, he gets his ceremonial execution, just being blasted and punched in the face, and just all sorts of negative things going on to this poor guy. That's going to be all she wrote. So very well played to these two fine players. It was a really, really fun match. When I saw the full Ghoul army and a double Bone Giant in one battle with two good players, I was like, I have to cast this. It has to happen. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that one. Taco's army was really cool. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of Bone Giants. I've been using them in a ton of matchups lately, and they can really catch people off guard for sure. And they were quite good against the, you know, the Crypt Horrors, the Vargheists, and against the Ghoul King himself. I like the Sneaky Snake Knight defense as well. Nice peeling with the poison. And of course, Cetra is just always a powerhouse of a character who pretty much can become an anti-large duelist if you give him the overcasted Curse Blades. And yeah, King's army was badass for sure. And I mean, Crypt Horrors are just, oh, they're so hard to make work. I feel like they're beating on the Kepler Guard that whole game and they just couldn't do anything. Like even with Ghoul support. I feel like Crypt Horrors are just a bad unit. Yeah, it's unfortunate because they used to be so cool. I would like to see some buffs on those guys. I don't really know how you could do it. Yeah, I'd have to think about that, but I feel like they need some changes for sure because like the Vampire Count metagame is so focused on sniping things with Gooses and draining effects from Mortis engines. Like a lot of other options just don't work, right? Like, you know, you don't really see Graveguard builds that much nowadays. You don't really see Cryptor builds. Like it's very like one-dimensional in their playstyle in terms of like the highest echelon of competitive play and things like that. I mean, obviously on ladder things can work, but I would like to see Vampires get some minor tweaks, not necessarily buffs, but like buffing like bad units to diversify their playstyle and, you know, increase the threats they can bring to the battlefield. But yeah, both players played super well. And I actually have another battle between Flying Taco and King of the Dead, which I'll be putting up, I believe it was probably played at the same time as these ones. I'll be putting that up probably after this one, a little bit later in the day or tomorrow. So stay tuned for that, guys. So thank you so much. Hopefully you enjoyed this Tomb King vs. Vampire Count Showdown. And guys, we will see you around. Take care.